Pastries and donuts may be the epitome of indulgence, colorful, sweet, warm, often paired with coffee and served as a breakfast item or midday treat. But let's not be fooled by their charming appearance. Beneath the icing, sprinkles, and flaky layers is a potent blend of refined flour, sugar, and unhealthy fats, making these baked goods some of the most dangerous foods in the modern diet. They are not innocent treats. They are metabolic landmines disguised as desserts. Let's start with what they're made of. At their base, pastries and donuts are a combination of refined white flour, stripped of all fiber and nutrients, and massive amounts of sugar. That means the moment you eat one, you're flooding your bloodstream with simple carbohydrates that are rapidly converted into glucose. Your blood sugar spikes, your insulin surges, and within a short time, that blood sugar crashes, leaving you hungry, irritable, and craving more. This is the textbook definition of a blood sugar roller coaster, and it's incredibly damaging over time. Now add fat to the mix, specifically the kind of industrial, often partially hydrogenated oils used in commercial bakeries and donut shops. These oils are not just unhealthy, they're toxic. They introduce trans fats into your diet, which are directly linked to increased LDL cholesterol, decreased HDL cholesterol, systemic inflammation, and a significantly higher risk of heart disease. Even when trans fats are banned, they often still appear in trace amounts due to loopholes in labeling laws, especially in mass-produced pastries and fried donuts. But even beyond trans fats, pastries and donuts are typically fried or baked with cheap vegetable oils like soybean or palm oil, both of which have negative health effects when consumed in large amounts. Combine those fats with refined sugars, and you've created a perfect recipe for fat storage, particularly visceral fat, the kind that wraps around your organs and drives chronic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and fatty liver. And let's not overlook the portions. Most donuts and pastries today are oversized and hypersweetened. A single donut can easily top 300 to 500 calories or more, virtually all from sugar and fat. A Danish, a filled croissant, or a cinnamon roll, you're often looking at 600 to 900 calories, sometimes more. These are not light snacks. They are calorie bombs, and because they lack fiber, protein, or any meaningful nutrition, they don't keep you full. So you reach for another, and the cycle continues. What's worse is how normalized they've become, especially as breakfast. The idea that a glazed donut or sugary pastry is a reasonable way to start your day is one of the most damaging dietary lies of the modern food industry. Eating this kind of high-sugar, high-fat product in the morning sets off a cascade of hormonal and metabolic disruption. Your insulin is spiked early, your hunger hormones are thrown out of balance, and your energy levels crash mid-morning, leading to more snacking and more sugar. These foods don't just contribute to obesity. They actively fuel insulin resistance. And that's not a slow burn. It can begin early and silently. People who regularly consume these kinds of products, especially as a habitual breakfast or snack, are putting themselves on a direct path toward type 2 diabetes, even if they don't feel any immediate effects. The damage is cumulative, and the early warning signs, fatigue, weight gain, mood swings, are easy to ignore until the bigger health problems show up. Let's talk about children for a moment, because they're major targets of these foods. Donuts and pastries are often marketed with bright colors, fun characters, and tempting flavors, sprinkles, frosting, gooey centers. This isn't just about taste. It's about creating addiction at a young age. The more sugar-heavy foods kids eat, the more they crave. And the more they consume ultra-processed treats early in life, the more likely they are to carry those habits and the health problems that come with them into adulthood. Even so-called better-for-you versions of these products, labeled as baked not fried, low-fat, or organic, are often just as dangerous. Sugar is sugar, and refined flour is still stripped of nutrition. These labels are marketing tactics meant to distract from the core problem. These foods are loaded with fast-adjusting carbs and industrial fats that hijack your metabolism and offer nothing your body actually needs. And let's not forget the long-term consequences. Higher risk of heart disease, increased belly fat, systemic inflammation, high triglycerides, blood pressure spikes, and poor gut health. Pastries and donuts don't just taste good in the moment. They leave a lasting impact that can take years off your life. The truth is hard, but simple. These sweet treats are not just occasional indulgences for many people. They've become daily habits, built into morning routines and afternoon pick-me-ups. But every bite is another deposit in a long-term health debt, one that ends in prescription medications, fatigue, chronic illness, and in many cases, early death. If there's one food category that could be eliminated from the average diet with zero nutritional loss, it's this one. Pastries and donuts are engineered for taste, not nourishment. They are vehicles for sugar addiction, not wellness. And if you're serious about protecting your health, your real, long-term health, it's time to stop pretending these foods are harmless. So next time you're tempted by that frosted, flaky, perfectly round donut, or that warm, buttery croissant filled with sweetened fruit, pause. Ask yourself if a few seconds of pleasure are worth the metabolic chaos, the insulin spike, and the path to chronic disease. Because these treats are more than just a guilty pleasure. They are a direct assault on your health, sugar-coated and smiling.